really not under 23 like the rest of the team. But yeah, I started cycling 4 years ago. I just actually signed up for a local charity Galway to Dublin cycle, which I thought would be good crack. And then ever since then, like, I just became really, really addicted to it. Joined my local cycling club, Clondalkin. And then this year then I joined the team with the lads because I just kind of wanted to develop on a little bit further. So it's really helped me then, like, training with the young lads. Like, obviously I can't keep up with them all the time, but even just going out with them on training spins has really brought me on this year. I think I've won 5 races so far this year. And yeah, unlike the lads on the team, like, I'm that bit older, I have a full-time job in Aldi. I'm stuck a lot less for time as well, but as Tim says, I work closely with Tim, and just my sessions would be like a lot shorter but just more intense, so it's hard to fit it all in, but we get there.
And Derek Stenson kind of runs the operation with us, and again combines a very busy building construction career with trying to get all the logistics and all the management.
For me, it's kind of been involved with the bikes as an outlet to get away from work. You know, it's, you know, we all have busy lives, kind of working and stuff like that. So it's nice to be able to kind of come home in the evening and spend a bit of time, you know, messing around with the bikes or looking after kind of, you know, a bit of the admin for the team and stuff like that. But I was in these guys' shoes 30 years ago. I was, you know, preparing for my first Ross. So it is a sport for life, you know. Once you get involved in it, you stick with it. So it's, you know, I might have been doing 15, 16 hours training back then, but now it might only get out for an hour or two on the bike a week. But it's still enjoyable.
But he has to keep on his toes because he's Adam's dad.
And Adam has made the transition last year to riding, you know, at the level with the lads, to a professional career now in Switzerland. So you might just give an idea of the step up and how that has changed. And
yeah, I'm like probably everyone else in the room. All I do is ride my bikes. My time is just riding bikes all day, and then the rest of it's just, as Tim said, like resting, recovering. You know, when you come in from training, sleep straight away. But last year I was doing my leaving, so I was with this team only doing 5 or 6 hours training a week, but still getting results in the top elite races in Ireland just by shortening down the hours and doing lots of intensity, like lots of sprint work, VO2 max. But then obviously this year I moved away and I'm able to train loads and like race pro races over in Italy and Switzerland and France, so it's a real good experience. Hopefully I keep at it for the next couple of years.
And you, Conor, you were asking about the gym. Like last year, Adam was able to do a lot of work in the gym over short periods of time. So that was, you know, he's able to build strength that way and not spend as much time on the bike. You know,
I had a knee injury for like 18 months, and the only way I could fix it was in the gym. Right. So it plays a huge part in like, all athletes.
I actually believe it made him as well as a cyclist. I mean, the gym transformed him into a very, very solid rider on the bike, and he was forced because of the injury to focus on a certain area that 90% of the cyclists don't, because they just want to ride the bike all day. It's very hard to sit in the gym, you know, when you're used to a sport that's out in the, you know, you're out in the air all day long, and like Adam was spending 4 days a week in the gym, but actually it was really interesting because the way this actually all started was we took Adam to a race 2 years ago, an international race up in Donegal, and I was looking after him with his injury. He hadn't touched the bike for the guts of 3.5 months, and but he was swimming and he was in the gym 4 days a week. And I told him, I says, trust me, you know, I knew his talent. If he could stay fit and work on all those other areas where he was weak, he'd come out of it a lot better at the end. He had 3 weeks on the bike and went out and won 2 stages and lost the yellow jersey literally on the last day, and had a puncture as well on the last day. So, but that just goes to show, like, he barely rode any bike at all, but stayed really fit through other sports. I think swimming is one of those really good ones that, you know, works on everything. And you can go in for your half hour, you know, early in the morning before work and get it done, and kickstarts the day for you as well.
And Dylan now is hoping to make that leap forward next year. So the Ross next week is a great kind of showcase for his talent.
Yeah, the Ross is, you know, it's my first year senior this year, and as Tim said there, I remember that race that Adam rode, and It's kind of like he'd risen from the dead. He came back. He disappeared for a year and won 2 stages of the race that I was riding in. So I kind of took up the same line, and for my first year. This winter I took up the gym as well. So you know, doing that kind of work to life and then exercise balance it's key. Like, you know, if you do want to stay fit. With the Ross, I don't really know what to expect. You know, it's 8 days, so longest race I would have rode before was a 6-day. The junior tour I rode with the Irish team last year, and yeah, that was a big experience. So this year now, hopefully I'll learn something from it.
And just, you know, in terms of what DHL support means to us, you know, very bluntly, we wouldn't be able to do the Ross or these big international races if it wasn't for your support. So we're hugely grateful for that. Like the actual cost of running a team like this, without getting into the specifics, is huge, and we don't get any funding from, you know, the Cycling Federation. You know, even though we believe we're developing really talented young riders who go on to ride in an Irish jersey at an international level, you know, we fund everything ourselves, and it is through the sponsors on the guys' jerseys. And you know, as I said, without your support, we wouldn't. You know, we just wouldn't be at the races. Literally, we wouldn't be showing up in the Ross on Sunday morning in Drogheda and being able to support the riders. So it means a huge amount to us behind the scenes to be able to put something like this together. And the guys, as I said, it's their showcase for the next 8 days in terms of their talent, and to show the country, first of all, what they can do. And then secondly, you know, big professional teams and international teams looking at recruiting riders into the future. You know, there are countless stage winners of the Tour de France, you know, who won the Ross, who won stages in the Ross. Tony Martin is a famous rider at the moment.
Who bet our guy?
Yeah, who bet
second?
Cody, who's not here today.
Yeah, he went on the World Championships.
He's
after.
4-time world champion now.
Yeah, so you know, it's a real showcase, especially for young international riders, to be able to come show what they can do, and then they're picked up by pro teams and they go on to a career, hopefully, that the likes of Adam and Dylan here will aspire to.
Yeah, we're in a very unique position, like being able to enter a team into the Ross this year as a, you know, our first year together, and that's, you know, credit to DHL and our other sponsors to, you know, to be able to put us in that position, and credit to the riders obviously for their ability. But normally most of the county teams that are riding in the Ross are established, 15, 20 years maybe. You know, they're clubs that have been around for a long time and have a lot of money backing them. But you know, like your help has put us in a position where, you know, we can enter these guys and showcase them to the rest of the world.
And it has been recognised a lot as well. Like, I mean, the Irish team has been very good to us as well. Like, our 2 guys were considered for the national team for this race, and they realised, you know, what we're doing is very, very important, and if they had taken them, it would have depleted our team big time. But they've let the 2 guys stay with us now, and they, like they've said, we're the grassroots of cycling. When you're working with young guys, this is what projects them into the future.
What's the age profile of the competitors in the Ross?
I'd say the majority of people are between 24 and 34, and our guys are 19 and 20. You know, so they'll be.
And is it male only race?
Oh, it is, yeah. They have a separate. They have a Ross Le Mans, which is later in which Jen rode last year, and we'll be riding it this year as well. And that's later on in the year. Yeah, that's actually